Would it be too dramatic if we said, your muscles are vanishing as we speak? It probably would be, but that doesn't make it any less true. Indeed, by the time you hit your 30s, a sneaky process called sarcopenia, which is age-related muscle loss, will be underway in your body, through which you could lose around 5% of your muscle each decade without even noticing. It sounds scary, but here's the real shocker. A simple food in your fridge can stop this muscle meltdown instantly, even better than that fancy protein powder you've been eyeing for days. For instance, in one study, it was revealed that older adults who ate a daily serving of a particular cheese actually gained muscle mass over 12 weeks, while a similar group not eating it kept losing strength. That's just one of the foods we're about to reveal. So stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which foods can halt muscle loss in its tracks, so you can stay strong, healthy, and attractive without choking down another chalky shake. First things first though, to understand how an ordinary food can outperform protein powder, we need to know what really causes muscle loss and how to fight it. Let's get into that. You might be thinking, isn't muscle loss just an old people problem? Ha! If only. Think about your muscles like a use it or lose it currency. If you're not continuously investing in them with the right nutrients and exercise, your body makes a withdrawal. Naturally, after about age 40, most of us lose muscle every year, and it accelerates with a poor diet. This is because our bodies constantly break down muscle protein, and if we don't refill the tank with high-quality protein, the balance tips toward loss. Basically, your muscle is a bucket. Protein, especially one amino acid called leucine, is the water that keeps it full, and muscle loss means you have a leaky bucket. Now, here's the million-dollar question. Even though protein powders brag about their BCAA and leucine content, do you really need protein powder to get enough leucine and protein? Spoiler, no. You can get all of it and more benefits from whole foods. Let's dive into the first on our list. 1. Dairy and its vegan counterpart. One of the most powerful foods you can use to beat muscle loss is in dessert, specifically ricotta cheese. Yes, the creamy stuff in lasagna or cannoli filling is apparently rich in whey proteins and packed with leucine, the amino acid we just hyped. Also, remember that study we teased at the beginning of this video? Researchers actually found that older adults who added 210 grams, or about 7 ounces, of ricotta cheese to their daily diet for 3 months actually increased their muscle mass, while a control group that had the same diet but no ricotta lost muscle. No protein powder was needed in this experiment because, unlike a supplement, ricotta is delicious and comes with bonus nutrients. It's like nature's protein shake, one you can spread on whole grain toast. Now, you might ask, what if I'm lactose intolerant or don't like cheese? Great question. The good news is dairy isn't the only game in town. Cow's milk itself is a well-known muscle defender, and a glass of milk has been proven to contain both whey and casein proteins, which are both excellent for muscle repair. Also, milk is usually fortified with vitamin D, which we'll talk more about soon. So if you can't tolerate dairy, a post-workout glass of milk can actually be as effective as a protein shake in stimulating muscle growth. One study on young men has found that milk leads to greater muscle protein gains after exercise than a soy drink, and that effect seems to hold for older folks too. Still, if cow's milk isn't an option, don't worry. Fortified soy milk is an excellent substitute, often boosted with calcium, vitamin D and A, and with a protein profile similar to dairy. In fact, a cup of soy milk or a serving of tofu made from soy can give you a hefty protein dose without any lactose. Now let's talk about tofu. Tofu is a soy-based protein powerhouse, and unlike many plant foods, it's a complete protein, meaning it has all the essential amino acids your muscles need to rebuild. Half a cup of firm tofu delivers roughly 10 to 15 grams of protein, plus a solid hit of leucine. And tofu isn't alone in that realm. Edamame or young soybeans are another yummy option loaded with protein and leucine. So even if you're strictly vegan, adding tofu or edamame to your diet can diversify your protein sources and keep meals interesting. So here's a pro tip. Toss tofu into a stir fry with veggies, Or blend silken tofu into a smoothie for a creamy, protein-rich boost. Your muscles won't know the difference from whey powder. Now that we've covered protein basics and some star players, let's move to another piece of the puzzle, one that might surprise you. 2. Vitamin D and omega-3 acids. We know protein is crucial, no one's arguing that, but muscles don't live on protein alone, and if you want to stop muscle loss instantly, you've also got to feed those muscles the right micronutrients. One of the biggest is vitamin D, also known as the sunshine vitamin. Now, why should you care about vitamin D? It's pretty simple. If protein is the brick for building muscle, vitamin D is like the mortar, because without enough vitamin D, your body struggles to maintain muscle strength. In fact, vitamin D deficiency directly contributes to muscle loss, weakness, and even falls in older adults. And here's the kicker. As we age, we produce less vitamin D in our skin, even if we frolic in the sun all day. So we've got to get it from food or supplements. That quickly takes us to fatty fish like wild salmon. Just a palm-sized serving of wild salmon, which is 3 to 4 ounces, packs around 25 grams of high-quality protein and nearly 1,000 IU of vitamin D. That's over 100% of the recommended daily vitamin D for most people, in one tasty fillet. And vitamin D isn't the only perk. Salmon and other oily fish like trout, sardines, and tuna are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which have an anti-inflammatory effect. This anti-inflammatory effect matters because intense exercise or aging can cause inflammation that accelerates muscle breakdown. Omega-3s help reduce such inflammation and can improve muscle protein synthesis in response to nutrition and exercise. Now, if you're not a fish fan, you still have options. For example, mushrooms exposed to sunlight can contain decent vitamin D, and many plant-based milks like soy or almond are fortified with vitamin D. All you need to do is check the label to confirm. Also, egg yolks contain a small amount of vitamin D, so when you're eating eggs, don't toss the yolk thinking it's unhealthy, okay? In moderation, the yolk's nutrients, including vitamin D, healthy fats, and choline, are super beneficial. One large egg easily gives you about 6 grams of protein and some vitamin D. Also, pro tip, if you can get pasture-raised eggs, that would be great. Those eggs usually have even higher vitamin D content because the hens producing them have seen some sunshine. And as for the omega-3s, flax seeds, chia seeds, and walnuts are great plant sources that'll provide ALA omega-3, which your body can partially convert to the same type found in fish. So, sprinkle some chia or flax seeds in your oatmeal or smoothie from time to time. It'll help give your muscles some anti-inflammatory protection. Moving on, let's look at our next group of foods that address muscle loss in a totally different way. 3. Veggies and fruits. We typically look at vegetables and fruits as nothing more than side dishes, but in reality, eating more fruits and veggies is linked to better muscle strength and less frailty as you age. But wait, how can a carrot or a sweet potato help your biceps? They barely have any protein. That's true. You're not going to hit your 30 grams of protein with a bowl of spinach. But veggies and fruits bring something else to the table: antioxidants and alkalinity. Here's a simple analogy of those terms. When you exercise or even just live your life, your muscles experience rust, which is known as oxidative damage from stress, pollution, and a bad diet. Antioxidants are like the anti-rust coating that helps neutralize the free radicals that would otherwise damage your muscle cells. In one study, scientists noted that people aged 65 to 85 who ate more fruits and veggies had stronger grip strength, which is a key sign of muscle health, compared to those who skimped on produce. They also found that low levels of carotenoids were associated with lower muscle mass in older adults. In plain English, what that means is, if you eat bright-colored veggies like sweet potatoes, carrots, and red bell peppers that are loaded with powerful antioxidants like beta-carotene and vitamin C, you give your muscles a shield against age-related damage. It's like how Popeye's spinach made him strong. Okay, we know spinach won't instantly pop your biceps like that, but now you know its nutrients support your muscle function behind the scenes. Another factor is alkalinity. Diets high in meat and processed carbs can produce a higher acid load in the body, which some studies suggest might promote muscle breakdown over time. Fruits and vegetables, on the other hand, have an alkalizing effect because they're high in potassium and magnesium, which counteract acid. One hypothesis is that an alkaline diet helps preserve muscle mass by reducing chronic low-grade acidosis. It's a bit like keeping the pH in a swimming pool balanced so nothing corrosive happens. So, by eating plenty of greens and fruits, you keep your internal environment more muscle-friendly. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage are all-stars here. They not only provide fiber and vitamins, but also phytochemicals that might signal your body to hold on to muscle. Even the humble red bell pepper gets a shout out for muscle health because it's rich in carotenoids, and researchers recommend it for older adults to help maintain muscle. So next time you make a meal, remember that a piece of chicken or tofu alone won't maximize your muscle. Pair it with a pile of veggies. 4. Hydration. Hydration is the most overlooked muscle saver on this list. Our muscles are about 75% water, so even mild dehydration can impair muscle function and recovery, but not a lot of people consider this. We also miss out on the fact that as we get older, our sense of thirst actually diminishes, which is why we'll need to make hydration a conscious part of our diet routine. Dehydration is like running an engine without oil. What do you think happens after that? Increased friction and more wear and tear, of course. Plus, on a cellular level, low hydration can make it harder for nutrients to reach your muscle fibers and for waste products to be removed, essentially hampering muscle repair and contributing to breakdown. So, one of the simplest ways to instantly stop muscle loss, or at least slow it, is to keep yourself well hydrated. Now the question is how much? The general guideline is around 8 cups of water a day, give or take. If you're active or live in a hot climate, you'll need more. And you should know that coffee and beer don't count as hydration. In fact, they do the opposite. So, if plain water bores you, try green tea or add a squeeze of lemon for flavor and a tiny boost of potassium. Also, many fruits and veggies have high water content, making them great for hydration and nutrition. By now, we hope you can see the big picture. Muscle loss isn't inevitable, and you can fight back with whole foods that are probably already in your kitchen. Now, before you rush off to raid your fridge or plan your next muscle-friendly meal, I've got one more tip. We've focused on what to eat during the day, but the journey to uncovering the hidden influences on our food and health doesn't end here. Click the next video, where we'll reveal another everyday habit that could be holding you back and how breaking free will make you feel and look better than ever. Your future self might thank you for it. See you there.